India's External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar just told Erdogan to back off the Kashmir issue. Not just that, Jaishankar also played the Cyprus card against Turkey, indirectly telling Erdogan, if you dare to peddle your lies on Kashmir, then India will fully lend its weight to Cyprus, which has a long territorial dispute with Turkey. Turkey has punched far above its weight in an attempt to provoke India. India is the 7th largest country in the world, while Turkey is 37th. India is the 4th biggest economy in the world at $4.2 trillion, while Turkey is down in 17th place at $1.4 trillion. New Delhi also commands the 4th most powerful military in the world compared to Turkey, down in 9th spot. Now Erdogan is sure to feel the pinch as India begins to lend support to Cyprus. In fact, India also shamed Pakistan at the United Nations for sheltering bin Laden for over a decade, as well as harboring UN-designated terror groups like LET and Jaish after Pakistan PM Sharif's Kashmir rant and lies on Operation Sindoor at the United Nations. But more on that later.
If destroyed runways and burnt out hangars look like victory, as the Prime Minister claimed, Pakistan is welcome to enjoy it.
First, Jaishankar claimed after his meeting with Cyprus's foreign minister at the United Nations, quote, "Always great meeting FM Konstantinos Kombos of Cyprus. Reviewed the progress in bilateral ties since the successful visit of Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Reaffirmed support for a comprehensive and lasting settlement of the Cyprus question in accordance with agreed UN framework and the relevant UNSC resolutions." Unquote. Northern Cyprus has been under illegal Turkish occupation since 1974 invasion. No country recognizes Northern Cyprus as an independent state, not even the European Union. In fact, Turkey's illegal occupation of Cyprus is one of the reasons why the door has been slammed shut by the European Union on Turkey's membership. Just days ago, an Indian Navy warship had also held military drills with Cyprus. There have been reports that Cyprus could also acquire the Indian BrahMos missile. The country has now thanked Bharat for its support against Turkish aggression. Its foreign minister stated, quote, "Always a distinct pleasure to meet India's Minister of External Affairs, S. Jaishankar. Discussion focused on further steps of the Cyprus-India strategic partnership, pertinent international issues, and the priorities of the upcoming Cyprus presidency of the Council of European Union. Grateful for India's long-standing principled support on the Cyprus issue and its upholding of international law. Looking forward to my visit to India soon." Unquote. So Cyprus is the next president of the European Union, and the long-awaited India-EU trade agreement is expected to be finally sealed during its tenure. During the 80th session of the United Nations General Assembly, India strongly rejected Erdogan's remarks on Jammu and Kashmir, calling them objectionable, and lodged a protest with the Turkish ambassador. NAS spokesperson Ranthir Jaiswal stated, "Our stand on the Kashmir issue is very clear. There has been no change in it. As far as mediation is concerned, there too, there is no need for any third party to mediate on the bilateral issues between India and Pakistan." Unquote. The war of words began after Erdogan, in his UNGA address, rigged up the Kashmir issue. Now, before we tell you what Erdogan stated, it's important to understand the Kashmir question. Kashmir has always been part of India's history. In fact, its capital Srinagar was established by Indian Emperor Ashoka in 250 BC, when Turkey or Pakistan did not even exist. Even during India's independence in 1947, the king of Jammu and Kashmir, Maharaja Hari Singh, legally and lawfully acceded to India, rejecting Pakistan. So entire Jammu and Kashmir, legally and historically, belongs to India. This is a fact no one can dispute. But annoyed by the decision, Pakistan launched an invasion and captured a part of Kashmir before Indian Army repelled the attack in 1947 and secured most of the region, including Srinagar. The only thing that now remains is the return of illegally occupied parts of Kashmir by Pakistan to India. Turkey or Erdogan has no locus standi on the matter, so why is Erdogan raking it up? Maybe he still dreams about the Ottoman Empire, which has now crumbled into oblivion, while India continues to thrive from time immemorial. Yet at the United Nations, Erdogan rigged up Kashmir issue again in an attempt to give some legitimacy to Pakistan's illegal occupation of POK. Adding that Turkey was pleased with the ceasefire agreement between India and Pakistan, he pressed for the Kashmir matter to be settled on the basis of UN resolutions. His comment echoed Turkey's long-standing support for Islamabad. But now, by linking its own rebuttal to Erdogan's Kashmir remarks with support for Cyprus, India has demonstrated diplomatic agility. This is not the first time India has played the Cyprus card. In a powerful message to Turkey just after Operation Sindoor, Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi not only paid an official visit to Cyprus, but later issued a statement expressing support for the sovereignty of the Republic of Cyprus. It was a loud and clear warning to Ankara. New Delhi assured its unwavering and consistent support for the independence, sovereignty, territorial integrity, and the unity of the Republic of Cyprus, unquote. In a moment that could be interpreted as a subtle yet bold geopolitical signal, Indian Prime Minister Modi toured the capital city of Nicosia and the border overlooking northern Cyprus. Even the capital is divided, where Modi was photographed with his eye on the Turkish-controlled north. A bolstering of diplomatic, economic and cultural cooperation with Cyprus, this was Prime Minister Modi's tit-for-tat response to Turkey, which continues to support the terror state of Pakistan. There are two broad contexts. Firstly, Turkey's backing of Islamabad during the recent India-Pakistan war, and secondly, Ankara and Nicosia's territorial dispute. Now, Turkey showed its true colors after the Pahalgam terror attack in Kashmir, where Pakistani-backed and sponsored terror group massacred 26 Hindu tourists based on their religion in front of their families. India launched Operation Sindoor, a counter-terror operation by the Indian Air Force and Indian Army in defense of the motherland. First, India smashed 9 headquarters of UN-designated terror groups operating well inside Pakistan, and then when Pakistan military responded, India shot down 6 Pakistani fighter jets and landed missile strikes on at least 11 Pakistani air bases. At the United Nations, India also called the absurd antics of Pakistani Prime Minister Sharif, reminding him, quote, "The Prime Minister of Pakistan also advanced a bizarre account of the recent conflict with India. The record on this matter is clear. Till the 9th of May, Pakistan was threatening more attacks on India. But on the 10th of May, its military pleaded with us directly for a cessation of the fighting. The intervening event was the destruction caused to multiple Pakistani air bases by Indian forces. The pictures of that damage are, of course, publicly accessible. If destroyed runways and burnt out hangars look like victory, as Pakistan Prime Minister claimed, then Pakistan is welcome to enjoy it," unquote. Pakistan Prime Minister has claimed on multiple times that Islamabad too shot down multiple Indian jets, yet till today Pakistan has failed to provide even a single proof to back its claims. No picture, no pilots, no radar proof, no eyewitnesses and no debris. All it tried peddling were fake images of previous non-combat crashes, which have all been debunked by experts. Yet, Pakistan and its supporters still live in delusions, just like back in 1971. But during India's attack on Pakistan's terror infrastructure, Turkey continued to double down its diplomatic as well as military support for Islamabad. In fact, over the years, Turkey has armed Pakistan's military, ranging from F-16 fighter jets and 30 Turkish T-129 attack helicopters to its Bayraktar TB2 armed drones. The defense collaboration between Turkey and Pakistan has seen significant acceleration over just the past decade. On the other hand, this report in the European Parliament website explains how Turkey also fuels religious extremism and hatred within India. This EU report elaborated, quote, "According to 2 Indian security service reports, Turkey is channeling funding into the activities of former ISIS members in India that are seeking to radicalize Indian Muslims and achieve large-scale destabilization through a transfer of know-how. To this end, the cooperation of dyed-in-the-wool radicals in Pakistan is being sought in a bid to facilitate interference in India's internal affairs through the state-controlled media and other organizations," unquote. As India follows zero-tolerance policy towards terror, it has in response banned any defense exports to Turkey or any military deals with Ankara. India also revoked security clearance of Celebi airport services, citing it as a national security risk. New Delhi cannot have airport services from a openly hostile nation, as it's a question of passenger safety. Indian universities, including IIT Bombay, Chandigarh University, the JNU, and even Jamia Millia all cut ties with Turkish institutions. While there was a 36% decline in the Indian tourists visiting Turkey in the immediate aftermath of the India-Pakistan war. Indian leaders have also refrained from visiting Turkey in recent years, though Erdogan did visit India for the G20 summit in 2023. But now Pakistan and Turkey are trying to cozy up to Trump and the United States and claiming that as a victory. However, while they are happy being vassals of America, India is pursuing an independent foreign policy and seeks partnership of equality and mutual respect with the United States. Indians are the most successful ethnic minority in the US, while Pakistan, backed by Turkey, are home to some of the biggest UN-designated terror groups in the world who follow the same dark age cult ideology of hate. Under Modi government, India now says enough is enough. Indus Water Treaty will never be restored with a terror state like Pakistan. Any terror attack from Pakistan-based groups will be treated as an act of war and invite an overwhelming response from the Indian military, with or without Turkey's backing of Islamabad. New Delhi is now actively strengthening its own defense ties with nations that are united against Turkish aggression, including Cyprus, Israel, Armenia, and Greece. Modi's message to Erdogan is loud and clear: back off Kashmir or be ready to pay the price. What do you believe? Should India continue to bash Cyprus at international forums like the UN to counter Erdogan's fake Kashmir rhetoric? Leave a comment with your opinion, hit the like button, and subscribe to Inconnect News.